Think of this rock as a form of attachment. Imagine you're climbing some amazing hike, you're going on a hike, and you just start picking up these rocks, and you start putting them in your pocket. And before long, you're halfway along the hike, you feel like you're way down, there's a whole bunch of resistance, and you wonder why you're out of breath. Well, that's because you've been picking up rocks, putting them in your pocket, thinking that they're yours, or even thinking that it's your responsibility to pick up the rocks and to carry them with you on the hike. Well, in the same way, think of letting go as just that. You're on a hike of life. You are going through life, you're on this journey, and the things you pick up and you put in your pocket many times aren't even yours. Just like this rock isn't even mine. I just picked it up. Here, it's Mother Gaia's. And the same way, you'll find though that a lot of your limiting beliefs will be that of other people's. There's a book that recently came, not recently, I don't know how, it's called like, what's it called? It's called something like, It Wasn't Yours, or I forget. I'll put the book right here. You can see what book this is. But I'm reading it right now. And basically what it has to do with is it's called It Didn't Start With You. It didn't start with you. Many of the beliefs we have did not start with us. They were part of what we learned growing up, but many times they're even a part of our own parents. So our parents may have had different patterns growing up. And then what happens is those same patterns kind of leaked onto us. We thought they were ours. Now, one of the best parts about understanding this is there's a lot of scientific research that goes into the epigenetics. Basically, as a species, we learned from our parents and from our environment growing up. And what we do is the purpose of that is so that we carry on the patterns of our parents so that we can work through it. And then whatever we don't work through, we give to our kids. And then it keeps going down the line. And the idea is that the more we learn, the more we are able to kind of adapt in a way. Now, what happens is the issues that our parents went through, they're patterns that many of us took on, and we thought they were our own. We think they're ours, but once we realize they're not really ours, we picked them up from our environment, we picked them up from our parents, from the energy dynamics growing up. It makes it so much easier to let go of. So it's because then we don't really identify with it as much. So one thing that I've been doing recently, I've realized that some of the beliefs and the patterns that I have, I absorbed from my dad. Some of them I absorbed from my mom. And it's not like they're right or wrong, but being aware of them makes it much easier for me to realize why it is that way. You know, it's like, then when you realize that it's not yours, it's so much easier to let go of. And sometimes it even comes from the social conditioning of our environment growing up, like like the government or whatnot. Like I used to believe I had ADHD. Therefore, I took Adderall, which the side effects of it, you couldn't eat very much, you couldn't sleep very much. People told me I had that because I have a lot of energy. And then I put that ADHD rock and I put it in my pocket and I carried it with me and I believed it. But then what happens is I learned meditation. And when I learned meditation, I learned how to observe my thoughts, and I learned that meditation was in a way me like looking at this rock and then realizing that I had a choice, that I could put it down and I didn't have to continue to carry it with me. So in the same way, the thing that I encourage you to do is to become aware of these beliefs that you have. Become aware of these things that you've attached yourself to. The thing is when you become aware of it, that's where the power is. When you're unaware of it, it's like you're walking around and you just have those rocks in your pocket. So I know it's kind of like a metaphor for understanding life, but in general, this is what I've realized. And understand this too. The only reason it will feel hard for you to let go is because of the reasoning of the mind as to why you should hold on to the rock or the attachment. That's why it's all about awareness. The reason is really what it is. You know, I shared a lot that scale of consciousness that shows the different levels of consciousness. And what happens is at the level of reasoning is the level of the mind. It's meaning. Whatever we give meaning to in life is the effect we get out of it. In the same way, when it comes to attachments, we remain attached to things because of the reasons as to why we should be attached to it. We have a meaning. And sometimes the thing is this meaning that remains on autopilot, we're not aware of what that meaning is. Maybe the meaning is that if we remain attached to our painful past, then what happens is it makes us justify why we went through what we did. You see, that's where it comes. There's a payoff there. Even if the payoff makes you angry, there's a payoff there, and there's a reason you're doing it. So one thing that I've been doing lately is letting go of reasons, letting go and becoming aware of meaning. I gave the meaning that I have a lot of energy. They call this ADHD. And that this is who I am, and I just have a lot of energy, and then, you know, I need to take Adderall for it, and there's just something wrong with me, which also went to my self-worth. I thought I was unworthy. But then I became aware of that belief, the story. You know, that book that I was talking about, It Didn't Start With You. Basically what it talks about is stories, the stories of our parents, were passed on to us energetically, and then we continue to live those stories on autopilot, not even aware that we can let go of the story. 90% of the process of transformation, you want to know what it is? Just becoming aware of the story. If you just become aware of the story, the belief that you had from growing up, many times look at abandonment wounds, look at your childhood wounds from when you were a kid, traumatic experiences. You may not even remember them, but you can feel the different emotions that may come up. But what happens is you realize that these stories have been passed on. I look to my past and I can see how there was different wounds there, and I could see how my mom had the same wounds, my dad had the same wounds. They attracted each other because of that. Call that trauma bonding. It's such a common thing. But the thing and the part of this process that I really want to encourage you to do is to look at and to become aware of the attachments you have. For a long time, I was letting go of my attachment to being in a relationship. It was something that I identified with. I met somebody that I had great connection with, still to this day. It's one of my best friends. But I, in my mind, had this trauma wound from when I was a kid of wanting my mom's love and attention. And then what happened is I attracted women into my life where I would always try to get that love, validation, and attention. And what I found is once I became aware of that pattern, I can then give myself that attention, that love, and then feel safe, and then not worry about rejection, which is something that happens when you feel abandoned at a certain point when you're a kid. And that completely changed my energy. I realized that wasn't really the source. The source was within me. I abandoned myself. And I'd abandoned myself by becoming fitting into other people's frame. So one of the biggest transformations I've had this year is letting go of being in other people's frame, being in my own frame, being much more grounded and inside my body, and not being afraid to go into, this has been huge, not being afraid to go into tension and to do what I want to do. This has been key, not just for polarity, not just for energy, but it helps me to really be happy, to fill up my own cup. But all that comes from letting go of the painful past, letting go of ADHD, letting go of a 9-to-5 job that brought me security before I went full-time on YouTube. Why? The reasons to why that was hard to let go of is because I justified it with, I need to have this, and this is what gives me money to pay my bills and all that stuff. And what will people think when I start making content like this on YouTube and stuff? But you have to have a vision as well. Have a vision, because then you also have a reason to why you should let go of those attachments. So really, it's about the vision, the commitment to that vision, and letting go of attachments by realizing those attachments aren't really you anyways. They're literally like rocks that you pick up, you put in your pocket, you identify with, you think they're yours, and then what happens is you carry them with you everywhere you go. You're on a long hike and you wonder why you feel resistance, where the resistance is because those rocks are in your pocket. You're carrying them around, you don't need to, but you think you do, and you have reasons to why you should. This rock belonged to my dad. This rock belonged to my mom. This rock over here I had in 7th grade. This rock explains why I went through everything I went through when I was a kid. And then we put those rocks in our pocket. It's all this resistance and we don't know why. The key is letting go of those reasons. Would you rather be right? Would you rather be right? Yeah, you got that rock from your dad or your mom. Yeah, you're right. You got that when you were a kid. It justifies your childhood. You're right. But are you willing, or are you desiring to be right at the expense of your own happiness? You see? You can be happy or you can be right. You're right. That rock came from mama. That rock came from dada. You're right. But you can let it go. You don't have to carry it with you everywhere you go. And that's what the key to really raising your frequency is, raising your vibration is. It's letting go. Letting go and being free and aligning. When you let go of caring what people think, when you let go of validation, when you let go of attachments, you become free. Then you just are unapologetically yourself. It's really the key to this whole video. Let go. Let go. Get these rocks, pick them up. It might be fun to pick up some attachments, but eventually you're gonna have to let them go. And you could set them down gently, like that. You don't have to throw them down and it doesn't have to be so. You just to make the choice to let them go because you want to be free. When you let go of these rocks, you literally become free. And when you become free, you can then be me. I mean, you can't be me, but you can be you. Okay? And that really is the key to this whole entire process. I think letting go is so challenging because when we're letting go of something or of somebody, what we're doing is we're stepping into the unknown. We're stepping out of something that may have given us some level of certainty. Maybe it gave us some level of familiarity, something that was comfortable. And when we let go, we are letting go of that. And with that, there's these beliefs, there's these things that keep us attached to these things, these patterns, because it keeps us safe. It keeps us where we are. Now, whether that's letting go of a past relationship, it can be very challenging to do. And maybe that's like an old job that you had or have, and maybe that seems challenging. And a lot of it is understanding that the mechanism that makes letting go hard, or what makes letting go hard, is that there's this safety valve that we all have that is trying to keep us within a little box. And the thing is that sometimes we're not aware that there's these like things we have in place keeping us safe, keeping us where we are. And the key what we're really afraid of is jumping into the unknown, jumping into what's not familiar, jumping out of the autopilot mind. And this year for me, like the year 2021, has been a year of letting go of the old, letting go of past attachments. And it's confusing to me in some ways because I'm like, well, I intellectually understand a lot of this. You know, I intellectually know that the more you let go, the more your vibrations raise, but why does it feel so challenging? And I look back to my old childhood and I can see that there were times in my past when I was a kid where there was some like unstable, there was some environment or something that happened that got brought into the environment that then caused chaos. And my way of controlling it was putting everything in a certain way. It was trying to control the outcome of things, trying to control other people, trying to control different dynamics of my life. But that control is based in fear. It's based in not wanting to jump into the unknown. And sometimes it's okay to stay in the known, but sometimes it is like something that bleeds you very slowly and you're almost not even aware of it. And the letting go is really the key to freedom. Letting go is really the key to you raising your vibration to a high level of consciousness. The only thing that will keep you from raising your vibration or that will keep you from doing that is attachment. And the challenge with attachment is there is reasons, there are these meanings that attach us to past experience that feel very hard to let go of. Really, letting go is not hard at all. It's the letting go of the meaning that appears to be hard because we've remained rigid with a certain level of certainty that we get from different meaning. And here's the beautiful thing about reality. Everything in life has no built-in meaning other than the meaning we give it. It's the story we tell ourselves about things that keeps us attached to people, that keep us attached to old jobs that maybe no longer serve, that keep us attached to negative beliefs. These attachments are what keep us from really raising our vibration to a new level. And sometimes we're afraid that if I move to this higher level, if I were, maybe I'd leave friends behind. Maybe I'd leave my partner behind. Maybe I'd leave my old job and coworkers behind. We're afraid that by letting go, we're going to then be alone because it's the unknown. The unknown is scary, but the unknown is also where all magic happens. The unknown is where we grow. Step into the unknown. What is one thing you can do today to step into the unknown? What is one thing you can become aware of? Don't beat yourself up because you become aware that it's, you keep attaching yourself to old patterns over and over again. That'll just keep you there even longer. One of the best things you could do is not judge yourself, but be aware when you are staying attached and realize the attachment you have is just because it feels safe. It feels familiar. And the more you become aware of this is the more you can then remind yourself that in the unknown is where all the magic happens. Heard that saying before. Your vibration is a combination of how you think, act, and feel. If you are attached to things, it's keeping that familiar thinking, feeling, and acting in place. Attached to the job, attached to the person, attached to the label, attached to whatever. An object, something you buy, money. It's keeping you in the same spot. And if you were to step into the unknown, it would challenge that identity. It would challenge the way that you see yourself. It would challenge your viewpoint. your meaning that you've made in the past. You've given different things, stories or things about the way reality works in the past, and it just is easier to keep it on autopilot than it is to challenge it and to step into the unknown. So letting go is not hard. Letting go is easy. It's a choice. It's a choice from a level of understanding that attachment is actually what's keeping you in low vibe. Letting go, and especially of control, by the way. One of the hardest things for me to let go of in my life is control. I'm an impatient person. I'm not perfect. I don't have all this stuff figured out, no matter how many YouTube videos of mine you've watched. I go through my own emotional stuff where things get brought up and I want to control different aspects of my life. I want to control how people respond to me. I want to control people's perception of me. Why? Because it feels familiar and safe for people to view me a certain way. A lot of this is also rooted in childhood trauma or in childhood experience where I didn't feel like I got attention growing up, so I'm going to create that attention through YouTube. People watching my content. Am I enough? Am I finally enough because I'm making all these videos? It's attachment. And the attachment to caring what you think has kept me from being authentically me. So what I've had to learn to do is how to heal my mother wound. Doesn't that sound crazy? I had a wound from being a kid where the attention shifted when I was 3 years old to my brother because my brother was born and he had all these health issues and all the attention shifted to him. I felt lonely. I felt alone. I felt like I didn't matter. I felt unworthy. It's not my mom's fault. She was doing the best she could, but that's just how I felt. So I'm going to recreate later on in life. I want to be successful. I want to be significant. I want to have these things on the wall. I want people to see me a certain way. Why does it feel so hard to let go? It feels hard to let go because you literally think the source of your happiness is the attention that you seeked growing up, that you're trying to recreate in your life. What if I was unapologetically myself? And what if people then didn't like me as much? That's the unknown. That's scary. But guess what? That's authentic and real. So, attachment comes from past conditioning that keeps us normally stuck in childhood wounds and childhood trauma, that keeps these patterns alive that we are afraid to break out of, because if we did, who would we be? We'd be in the unknown. Maybe we attract certain type of relationships into our life because there's intimacy blocks there that keep certain patterns going. But if we became aware of it and let it go, then we'd be stepping into the unknown. And that's scary. But it is also exhilarating. It is also where all magic happens. Magic happens in the unknown, not the known. If you want to continue to create what you've always had on autopilot, then continue to do, think, and feel the way you've always done that. Stay attached. But if you want to raise your vibration, the key is realizing the key to raising your vibe is letting go. Letting go of control, letting go of labels, letting go of attachment, letting go of people. Letting go is the key to raising your vibration to a higher level of consciousness, and letting go is something you can do by making the choice. By realizing you're going to challenge the old identity, and that's okay. Imagine the universe says yes to whatever you say. It gives you whatever you ask. Whatever you say, it affirms. I want money. I want love. I want success. And the universe goes, yes, you do. Yes, you do want it. I'm like, I know, I want it. And the universe is like, yeah, you really do. You really want it. And I'm like, I know, I want it. But imagine you would have then moved into the vibration of having it. And the vibration of having it, the universe is like, yes, you do. Now, what is the vibration of having it? You want to know what that is? It is the vibration of gratitude. Gratitude will literally unify you with the reality that doesn't already exist yet. So if you can feel grateful for something before you actually have it on the outer reality, it will then become manifest on the outer reality. But you do it from a place of detachment. Almost like a fun-like mentality. The days that I went into that 9-to-5 job, that I just focused on having fun and I was detached from the outcome, a lot of times I would just focus on connecting with customers. Like this is a weird thing. I'd go into work. And what I would say is, okay, I'm not going to just focus on like seeing people as dollar signs. Like, are they going to buy from me? I say, how can I add value to them? And part of the adding value is also adding emotion. Could I get them to feel a certain way? So one thing I would do is I'd go and I'd just start joking around. I would just start having fun. I'd be sarcastic. I would just like really show my personality. And then many times at the end of helping them, I was like, oh yeah, They're like, yeah, okay, I'll take the shoes. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I was selling. I forgot that you're to buy shoes. We were just joking around, having a good time. The days that I went in, that I was just having fun, it was a light mentality, it's a magnetic energy. That magnetizes you to things like you can't even imagine. And it's not because you're attached to the outcome, it's because you've let go. There is a magic to letting go. All control comes from the level of the ego. Think about it. We have the ego. The ego is identified with controlling things. If I could just have everything turn out the way that I wanted, it would be okay. But think about that. It's assuming the ego must do everything. Now, if you were to set your intentions of a vision of something you want to experience, but then let go of how it comes to manifestation, not be attached to the outcome, you'd find that then it can happen magically. It can happen in more of a divine way. But the more you try to control it, the more it's trying to say, I have to do this. I'm going to put it on my back and carry it around and have it happen, instead of just actually letting it go. There have been so many times in my life that I let go of something I'm trying to control. Even YouTube, for example, making YouTube videos. There's times when I'm like trying to, what will people like to watch? I'm focused on what everyone else wants rather than focused on what I want to make. And then my passion leaves as I'm trying to make videos I think people are going to want to see. Like, my passion is making these videos and that they help people. But if I'm chasing views, it'd be like chasing money. Especially if that passion wasn't there. And then what happens is that passion begins to go away as I'm doing it, because I'm doing it for the money, not for the passion. And then people can feel that. But there's been times I just completely let go, and then it's like magic. I'd let go of like worrying about my numbers. How many subscribers per day am I getting? What is this? What is that? I would just completely let go, and guess what? More and more magic comes. There was one time I was really attached to the outcome of what people thought of me. And I'm sure there's some level I'm still there now, at a certain level. But I really let go of it a lot. There was a time on YouTube, this is about a year ago, I wanted to make videos. It is my passion to make videos on things that were very esoteric. Understanding us being multidimensional beings, understanding higher realities, and these things that were very esoteric. And I wanted to make these videos, but I was really afraid of what people would think. I'm like, wait, I'm like this law of attraction guy is how people see me on YouTube. I can't make videos on this stuff. These people might think it's weird. But then what I said, you know what? I'm going to let go of the outcome. I'm going to let go of what people think. I'm going to make these videos because I want to make these videos. I made those videos. And the paradox is that normally when I'm afraid to put out videos, but I let go of the outcome and I trust, magic happens. Literally magic. The channel grew from like 400,000 subs to like 600,000 subs in like a couple months because of that. And it was from stepping into the unknown and letting go of the outcome, trusting the passion. This is where magic begins to come in our life. And realize, if you're trying to attract a person into your life, if you're trying to attract money into your life, and you're trying to control it from the level of the ego, only so much can happen. The key is actually letting go of control. It is allowing these things to happen in a more magical way. Think about it too. A lot of people will be trying to attract one person into their life. If this one person would come into my life, I'd feel great. Putting this person on a pedestal and making it like this person's the end all be all, which is a scarcity mindset, by the way. Imagine you trust the course of your life. You trust that you're going to be where you need to be when you need to be there. And you realize that there's 7 billion plus people on the planet. And with that realization, you realize maybe I'm limiting myself by just thinking and putting this one person on a pedestal. And imagine that then what happens is you let that go. And if you were to let that go, you'd then be in abundance, and then you'd have this magnetic energy. And then when you do talk to that person, you're not in scarcity because you're not really, really hoping it goes well, because it's okay. There's billions of other people out there on the planet. You see? So this is about understanding the truth. The truth is there's abundance all around regardless. And if you trust the course of your life and you let go, you release, you become free. And being free is also very attractive. If you're free, uninhibited, how do you say that word? Uninhibited, and uninhibited in your actions, it's contagious energy. This person just being themselves. But the key to this is understanding that dynamic. Now, there's something else I want to share with you right now. I have something where my intention is to help people that are feeling Like, that's how they have to manifest, is from that level of really, really wanting. Understand it's not your fault, too. This is what we're taught in a lot of the old school law of attraction teachings. I just think they're outdated. They're coming from a certain level of consciousness, and we now have a collective, have been raising our level of consciousness, so it's time to do things in a more divine, magical way. And I believe that when we make this transition, literally, things become magical. We shift into magic, and it has to do with letting go. So if you feel like you're chasing, if you feel like you're wanting, and you feel like that hasn't been working out for you, I have something that is called Mind Shift, which is a step-by-step process that shows you how to apply what I'm talking about so that you finally start to merge and experience that money, that love, that success that comes into your life because you have that attractive, magnetizing type energy. I help you with meditations also. Step-by-step process, meditations, unify yourself to that reality of gratitude so that you feel it. And understand all the outer reality is a reflection of what you feel on the inside. And what these meditations allow you to do is to also let go. Not be so needy, and instead to be in that high vibrational state. This video right here, this is one of the most powerful videos that I made, and I highly recommend that you watch it because it'll help you with what you learned in this video. In this episode, I'm going to be showing you the cure to codependency, how to never be needy again. I'm going to share with you also my journey through this process, what I've learned about the